Who would ever think that a bird could build something like a brick oven? Not in the ground, but up in a tree. Have you ever seen a bird build a house out of mud? Not twigs, not leaves, not feathers, just mud, clay, straw, and a whole lot of patience. Now, imagine that house looks like a little brick oven, the kind you bake bread in. Sounds impossible, right? But one bird does exactly that. And here's the wildest part. It doesn't do it for fun. It doesn't do it for decoration. It does it to raise its babies. This is the Rufous Hornero, a small, plain-looking bird from South America. It's brown, it's quiet. Honestly, it doesn't look special at all. But what it builds, that's what will blow your mind. Because this bird, this tiny creature with no hands, no tools, no training, is one of the greatest architects in the animal kingdom. Let's see how. Some birds build nests out of twigs. Others use grass. Some even borrow old holes in trees. Not the Rufous Hornero. Nope. When it's time to start a family, this bird gets busy. Really busy. It doesn't find a nest. It makes one. From scratch. Every time. And it doesn't hide either. It builds right out in the open. On top of fence posts, branches, power poles, even rooftops. Anywhere that's sturdy. No matter how weird it looks. And when it finds the right spot, the magic begins. It picks up a mouthful of wet mud, flies to the spot, drops it, shapes it, flies back, again, and again, and again, all day, for weeks, sometimes in the heat, sometimes in the wind, sometimes in the rain. It doesn't stop. And here's the thing, it's not working alone. The male and the female build together, like tiny construction workers, with beaks for shovels and wings for trucks. Bit by bit, the nest begins to grow. At first, it just looks like a lump of mud. Nothing special. But slowly, a round dome starts to form, then a tunnel-shaped entrance, then thick walls, curved roof. And by the time it's done, it looks like a mini pizza oven, a real oven, stuck to a tree made by birds. But why go through all that work? Why not just build a regular nest, like everyone else? Because the Rufous Hornero isn't just making a nest. It's making a home that's strong, a home that's safe, a home that protects its family from heat, cold, and danger. And believe me, in South America, that's no small task. In the wild, weather can change fast. One day, it's scorching hot. The next, it's freezing at night. Predators lurk everywhere. Snakes, hawks, wild cats. A flimsy pile of sticks? Not gonna cut it. But a mud oven with one tiny entrance. Now that's smart. It keeps the eggs warm at night, cool during the day, and makes it almost impossible for predators to get inside. Just think about that for a second. A bird with no blueprints, no instructions, no measuring tape, building something that engineers would admire. Not once, but every breeding season. It's amazing. And it gets even better, because this nest isn't just for show. It's a survival machine. By now, the nest is almost finished. The last layer of mud dries under the sun. The walls are thick. The roof is solid. The entrance is narrow and curved like a hallway. Inside, it's quiet, dark, and perfectly cozy. It's time to lay the eggs. But what happens next? And what makes this bird even more mysterious? Well, that's just the beginning. In the next part, we'll follow the building process even closer. From the first scoop of mud to the final masterpiece. Because the Rufous Hornero doesn't just survive. It thrives. With nothing but mud and pure instinct. No hands, no blueprints, just a beak. And yet, this bird builds an oven better than some humans could. All right, let's look closer at how this bird does it, because building a mud oven without hands is not as simple as it sounds. It all starts with a plan. Not a drawing, not a sketch, just instinct. Inside the bird's brain, there's a blueprint, passed down for millions of years. No one teaches them. They just know. Step 1, find the right place. Not too low, not too high. It has to be safe, flat, sturdy. Could be a tree branch, a fence post, even a metal pole. Some Rufous Horneros even build on roofs, right next to people. They're not shy. They're just focused. Once the spot is set, the hard work begins. The birds search for mud, but not just any mud. It needs the perfect texture. Not too wet, not too dry. Sticky enough to hold, but not too heavy to carry. They also pick up little bits of straw or dry grass to mix in, like rebar in concrete. That makes the walls stronger. Then they fly back and add one little blob. Drop it, shape it, tap it with their beak, then fly out for more. Back and forth, back and forth. All day, hundreds of trips, sometimes thousands. One mud ball at a time. And they do it together, the male and the female. Like a tiny building team, no arguing, no taking breaks. They just build, day after day, in the heat, in the wind, even in the rain. They don't give up. And slowly, the shape starts to appear. A round base, a rising wall, a curved roof. They shape it like a dome, strong and stable. Then, the entrance. They carve a small, round hole near the top, just big enough to squeeze through, but not big enough for danger. Inside, they build a hallway. It curves around, kind of like an L shape. Why? To stop predators, to trap heat, to keep the wind out. They don't just build a shell, they design the inside. It's not a bird nest, it's a natural bunker. The materials harden in the sun. Day by day, the oven gets tougher. The outside turns solid, like dried clay. The walls get thicker, the dome gets smoother, and the birds keep checking it, tapping it with their beaks, fixing little cracks until it's just right. And then, one day, they stop. The nest is done. It took weeks. It took teamwork. It took thousands of tiny choices. But now, it's ready. The oven stands alone, strong, simple, silent. It doesn't shake in the wind. It doesn't melt in the rain. And inside, it's dark, quiet, safe, perfect for the next step. Because now, it's time for new life, time for eggs, time for a family. But here's the strange part. After all that building, the parents, they might not even stick around. Some Rufous Horneros build the nest, then leave. The eggs are left inside. The oven holds the heat. No one needs to sit on them. The nest becomes the parent. That's why this bird is so amazing. It builds something that lives on, even when it's gone. Pretty wild, right? A bird builds an oven, then trusts it to do the rest. And often it works. The eggs hatch. The chicks survive. All because of one perfect house made from mud. So what happens next? Let's go inside that oven and see what happens after the eggs are laid. Because the real miracle is what happens when the babies are born. Coming up next, there's no electricity, no fan, no air conditioner. But somehow, the temperature inside that nest is just right. Let's take a closer look at what's inside the oven, because what happens next is pure genius. Inside this little clay dome, the air is calm, still, quiet. No sunlight gets in, no wind, no rain. It's like stepping into another world. Cool, dark, safe, perfect for eggs. The female lays 2 to 4 eggs, tiny, white, smooth. She places them deep inside the chamber, far from the entrance, far from danger. And then they wait. But here's what makes this nest so special. It's not just a home. It's a natural incubator. The thick mud walls, they work like insulation. During the day, when the sun is burning hot, the inside stays cool, comfortable. At night, when the air turns cold, the nest traps warmth, like a blanket made of earth. That's a big deal, because baby birds can't control their body temperature. They need steady heat, or they die. Most birds must sit on their eggs all day and night, just to keep them warm. But the Rufous Hornero, it lets the nest do the job. That's the magic. And when predators come, snakes, owls, wild cats, they see the nest, they smell the eggs, they want in, but they can't. The entrance is too small, the tunnel is too tight, the inside is too far back. It's like trying to rob a vault through a bendy straw. No way in. The oven doesn't just protect against heat and cold. It protects against death. It's a fortress, a babysitter, and a heat lamp, all in one, and all of it built by a bird with just a beak. For 16 to 18 days, the eggs stay warm inside. No noise, no light, just time. And then, one day, they hatch, little beaks, little eyes, bare skin. The chicks are here. They can't walk, they can't fly, they can't even open their eyes. But they're alive, and they're growing, fast. The parents bring food, little bugs, tiny seeds, back and forth, over and over. The chicks chirp, the parents listen, they feed, they guard, they clean. It's a full-time job, and still, that nest keeps them safe. Hot outside, still cool inside. Cold wind, still warm inside. The oven does its job, even after the eggs hatch. After 3 to 4 weeks, the chicks grow feathers. They open their eyes, they flap their wings. One day, they walk to the entrance. They look outside, and just like that, they fly. But here's the best part. Even after the chicks are gone, the nest isn't useless. The parents come back next season, fix a crack, patch a hole, use it again, and again. Why build a new oven when the old one still works? That's smart. That's efficient. That's wild. The Rufous Hornero doesn't just build a nest. It builds a system, a plan, a future. Coming up next, we'll explore what this nest really means. Why does it matter? Why does this little bird get it so right, when humans often get it so wrong? Let's wrap it up with one final look at nature's tiny architect. Stay with me. It wasn't built by machines. It wasn't designed by engineers. It was built by a beak, and remembered by anyone smart enough to notice. So what can we learn from a small brown bird with no tools? A bird that builds a house without hands, without help, without ever being taught. We call it just a bird, but look at what it's done. It finds mud, shapes it, builds with it, protects life with it, and it does it all without needing to be seen, without needing to be praised, just because it must. That little oven, it's not just a nest, it's a lesson, a message, a mirror. It shows us what's possible, with patience, with purpose, with instinct. Engineers study it, architects admire it. But the bird, it doesn't brag, it just builds and moves on. It doesn't have hands, but it creates structure. It doesn't have fire, but it controls heat. It doesn't have words, but it tells a story. In a world full of noise, The Rufous Hornero is quiet. While others rush, it builds slow, steady, carefully, not for show, but for survival, for family, for life. And when it's done, it leaves behind something that lasts, not forever, but long enough to change the lives inside it, to give them a chance, a start, a future. We build with machines, with plans, with teams. This bird builds with mud, with love, with time, and somehow it gets it right. Maybe that's why its little oven nest feels like more than just a pile of dirt. It feels wise, timeless, true. So the next time you walk past a post, or a rooftop, or a crooked branch, and you see what looks like a lump of clay, stop. Look again. You might be standing in front of one of nature's most perfect homes, built with a beak, powered by instinct, and shaped by something we can't always explain, but we can feel it, respect it, and maybe learn from it. Thank you for watching Wild Wings. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, and share it with someone curious like you. See you next time for another incredible story from the wild.